Merry Christmas. This birth of Jesus is such a great thing to celebrate, but we would sell ourselves short to stop at the manger. And a lot of us know this. The story of Jesus, it's the manger and the cross. And these are two separate events, but they're one story. They're separate, they're distinct, and yet they're connected, they're joined, they're linked by wood. So a couple thousand years ago, some unnamed carpenter sawed and hammered together a feeding trough for his cow, with no idea that one day that trough would be the bed for the Messiah, the Savior. And I don't know what contract the Roman government had with what lumber yard a couple thousand years ago that would deliver beams of wood for all the crosses for them to execute criminals on. But this manger and this cross, distinct and separate, but joined by wood and linked by tears. Don't you? Yeah, I mean, you gotta believe, don't you, that Mary, okay, the childbirth, yes, she had some tears then. But the birth of the Savior, don't you want to believe that she cried these tears of gratitude? She was so humbled to be the mother of the Savior. 33 years later, she would cry tears at a cross with unspeakable anguish. See, these two things brought together by tears and darkness. So we all know Jesus was born at night because the shepherds were keeping watch over their flocks at night. It was dark, all right? And Jesus was born in darkness. Now, Jesus died at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It should have been bright day, but at noon on that day, God dropped darkness over the whole region. Jesus died in darkness. At 3 in the afternoon, born and died in darkness. And then at both of these places, there were people. At the manger, Mary, Joseph, shepherds, angels hovering. Jesus was not alone. The cross, a whole lot of people. It was not a kind crowd that had gathered around the cross, but Jesus, though he died forsaken, he did not die alone. And then God brings the manger and the cross together. It was God laying in that manger, and it was God hanging on that cross. Jesus was born in a manger to bring peace to the world. Jesus hung on a cross and died that we might have peace with God. And so this Christmas thing, this Easter thing, this manger and the cross, it's two events, separate, but joined. It's one story. But joined as they are by wood and tears and darkness and people and God, as joined as they are two separate, almost polar opposite events and objects, this manger and this cross. They stand in stark contrast to each other. The manger, it was beautiful and it was safe. Around the manger we sing, "Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright." It's calm, it's quiet, it's all smiles and it's warm hearts. There's this awe and this reverence around this nativity. Now maybe you know this, maybe you don't, about the Christmas story, but the Bible records no words around the manger. The Bible records silence around the manger. Now, I gotta think that the shepherds said something, and Mary and Joseph said something, but it's almost as if that God wanted to make a point that when God became a baby and lay in a manger, there was awe and there was reverence. And do you think they worshiped him and words would not come? They worshiped in silence. There was no silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright at the cross. No, it was anger and chaos and disruption and insults hurled. It was hatred, and there were words, all kinds of words at the cross. Silence around the manger, words around the cross. Jesus spoke 7 times from the cross. The thieves on either side of him bantered at each other. The soldiers were there mocking and throwing dice to gamble for his clothes. They were noisy and they were disrespectful. There's a man hanging on a cross, and they just laughed and gambled for his clothes. The religious leaders hurled their insults at him, loud, angry, harsh words. If you're the Savior, then prove it by coming down from the cross. At the manger, there was this quiet reverence. And around the cross, chaos and noise. One of the things that draws us, that lures us to Mary and the baby, is this belief, this sense that in that stable, all was well with the world. And there's a sense in which it was, right? Because everyone, do you understand that? Everyone around the manger believed. Everyone. Hardly anyone around the cross believed. But around that manger, they were all in. That's the Savior. And so there's this attraction that the manger, Mary and the baby have, pulling us in because, well, all was well and right at the manger. Or so it seemed. You see, the devil was there that night, around the manger, lurking in the shadows. Mary and Joseph, the shepherds, we might see the sweet little baby Jesus sleeping there. But the devil saw his enemy, his nemesis. I don't know if Mary and Joseph gathered around that manger understood that a war was brewing that night, but the devil knew that with the birth of Jesus, God had declared all-out war on him. The devil knew that ever since Adam and Eve and their disobedience in the Garden of Eden, that God had been talking about a righteous king who would one day come, born of a virgin, born in a humble way, who would redeem and save the world. And so the devil saw the manger as his enemy. Wrapped up in that manger was a warrior. Cute, cooing, yes. But bearing this holy sword of righteousness that would pierce the darkness and evil. Heaven understood that the safety of the manger would lead to the danger of the cross. They understood that the life in the manger would lead to the death on the cross. Now they also saw that Jesus would walk out of the empty tomb resurrected from the dead. But all of heaven saw a war brewing. So can I just say it? Merry Christmas and happy Easter. Gotcha. Like, these are two events, distinct, one story, joined by wood and tears and darkness and people and God, but separated as in so many ways. But it's one story. What did the angel say to the shepherds? It's good news, right? I bring you good news of great joy that will be for all the people. Today in the city of David, a Savior has been born. He is Christ the Lord. It's good news at the manger. What did the angel say to the women outside of the empty tomb? He is not here. He is risen from the dead. We stand 2,000 years removed from the manger and the cross, and we see the linked, separated events that are one story, and both the manger and the cross are our good news. Charles Spurgeon was a great and renowned preacher from the 1800s. And he once said that people's hearts are either like mud or wax. And when the sunlight shines on the mud, that wet mud, it bakes it hard. And when the sunlight shines on the wax, it softens it. I mean, have you ever left a box of crayons on the dashboard of your car in July? Right. And so when the light of the sun, S-O-N, when the light of the sun shines on our hearts, and our hearts are wax, soft, it melts. It finds a welcome room to come to. At the manger, there were only hearts of wax. Remember, everyone around the manger believed. And so when they felt the light of the sun coming out of that manger, that light met a soft heart of wax that opened them to worship and to pledging their allegiance. But that same light bakes mud hard. At the cross, a few hearts of wax, but mostly hearts made of mud. There was resistance, there was anger, there was stubbornness, there was pride. In John 12:37 it says, despite all of Jesus' miracles, most of the people did not believe in him. In John 7:5 it says that even Jesus' own brothers didn't believe in him. For some people, the light of the sun is not received well, and their hearts just grow harder. So this Christmas, can we just choose a soft heart? I mean, you can decide this, right? You decide whether your heart is mud or wax. You decide whether you're going to be resistant to the Savior or you're going to be soft and open to the Savior. Christmas and Easter, the manger and the cross are really this beautiful invitation to let the light of the S-O-N, the light of the sun, warm and soften our wax hearts where we give room for the Savior. So Merry Christmas and Happy Easter. Father, thank you for these two wooden objects. Thank you for the stories behind them. Thank you for the one and only Savior of the world who laid in that manger and brought life and hung on that cross and died that we might have life. And so, from the bottom of our hearts, I say thank you on behalf of these people. Merry Christmas, Father. Happy Easter as we make room in our hearts.